So what's up, people? How we doing today? I got Oronike from the Rapper's Delight 50th Hip Hop Anniversary. Actually, it's the Natural Black Arts Festival, which is going to be showing its props to hip hop 50th anniversary. How are you doing today?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing well, thanks. I mean, for the people out there, for the hip hop world, I mean, we're all celebrating hip hop's 50th anniversary. Can you tell people a little bit about this festival and, the organization that is putting this festival on?
Sure. So, National Black Arts Festival is actually the oldest nonprofit in the U.S. that's exclusively dedicated to supporting, presenting, and promoting art from artists of African descent. And we do that in a lot of different ways. We've done that in the past in festivals, we do it in grant, we do a lot of public programming that's free and open to the public, really trying to make Black art accessible to everybody. And so for our Black Music Month program, it's only right that we celebrate hip hop. We're in the 50th anniversary of hip hop here in 2023. I mean, it's a global phenomenon. It's probably one of the most important Black cultural movements, in the world. And so we want to really kind of celebrate that and also do it in a multidisciplinary way, do it in a way that, other people can't. A lot of people having concerts and things like that. But as an arts organization, we want to look at it through the lens of art. And so we're having our Rapper's Delight 50-year of hip hop celebration on Saturday, June 10th. And we're really excited about it. We got a lot of good stuff planned.
That's awesome. That's awesome. June 10th, Atlanta, Georgia. It's going to be starting at 8 p.m., correct?
Correct. It goes from 8 p.m. to midnight.
Okay, cool. So, I mean, you're right. Hip hop is a global phenomenon, and we all have our individual hip hop memories. What are some of your early memories of hip hop? Like, when did you fall in love with hip hop? I know it's cliche, but I think it fits this scenario.
Well, it's funny because growing up, I listened to what my parents listened to. So, we weren't touching the radio. So I was, a kid that was listening to Bob Marley and Fela and whatever it was my parents were on. But my older sister used to go to visit family in Jersey in the summers, and she would come back down with all this hip hop. So the first hip hop song I learned was Salt and Pepper, I'll Take Your Man. And what's crazy is talking about it with some folks in the office. I was like, I can say it word for word to this day. You know what I mean? That's how stuck in my head it was. And we used to do the, routines and stuff. And, I used to love Heavy D. She listens to Heavy D a lot. So a lot of hip hop I really learned through her. She's a really big music head. So, I mean, when she got into Wu-Tang, I got into Wu-Tang. When she got into Lil' Kim, I got into Lil' Kim, So, but yeah, that Salt and Pepper, I mean, I can still remember kind of everything about that song and what they used to wear and the outfits. And we used to put on these performances, these hip hop performances for my parents, so they'd have to sit there and watch, the 8-year-old singing "I'll Take Your Man," you know what I mean, to them or whatever. So yeah, it started early and it stuck in my brain. I think like with everybody, it's like the soundtrack really kind of our lives.
It's one of those. It's funny you say that. I'll start thinking about, I guess, my experience where we used to take the cassette tapes and record stuff off the radio. If we didn't have a blank tape, we would knock out the thing in the tape, put some tissue there, or whatever. Oh no, put some tissue in there because it was open, and then you could record over your parents' stuff. My parents are really pissed off at me when I did that, but yeah, I mean, we would write down stuff just to memorize it, the routines, and we don't even really know why, hip hop connected with us in that way, but it just did. And that's a beautiful thing to hear that, everybody had like a similar experience when it comes to hip hop. And in those days, it was really, really organic. What would somebody expect, I guess, coming to the festival, the arts festival? Like, what's going to be the experience and the walkthrough like?
Yeah, so really, digging down into trying to create a really unique event, always trying to do things that are innovative in the market. We're creating kind of a silent pod disco experience. So
cool.
This is really kind of choose your own adventure. Since we've got 5 decades of music to explore and everybody kind of, viscerally connects to different decades, we've created these, what I'm calling silent disco pods. And they're really these exhibition areas that will go through a decade visually through interactive kind of elements and exhibitions to take you through the history, the art, the people, the players. And when you step into those areas, you'll change your headphone to whatever channel that is, and you're going to be listening to a curated mix from that decade. So you're able to do 5 of these as you move through the space.
That's
So,
beautiful.
you're really like, I'm an old school hip hop head. I want to hear LL Cool J and Queen Latifah and all that. I can go into that pod. I can, interact with the exhibitions that are in that pod, and I can listen to that music in my headphones, and I can move through the party that way.
Wow.
We're also going to have a live DJ there. So we've got, I think, 5 different DJs who will be performing on our stage. So if you're done with the exhibitions, you can always tune in to the DJ that's on stage and listen to what it is they're rocking. We have a Black business market, a lot of vendors who are selling hip hop or Black culture related products there. So, you can shop the vendors, support Black business while you're there. I mean, we've got art exhibitions going. We've got some photographers and things who will be exhibiting their photography that's hip hop related. We've got bars. So it's really, trying to do something different. You got 6 different parties in one you can kind of choose from as you're moving through the space.
And you know what? And like you said, this is the art festival, and this is about culture, and hip hop is clearly a cultural phenomenon, and you guys are tacking on to that cultural experience where you can actually feel that.
Exactly, because you can't really just focus on the music. You got to talk about the fashion. You got to talk about the politics and activism. You got to talk about the art. It's inspired so many things. You got to look at hip hop movies and, and literature. It's branched off from just being a musical form to really being a culture. And so we're trying to look at all of it through the decades, so people can have those nostalgic moments as you look back, maybe learn some things you didn't really know about hip hop, and all of its different influences, and also just, being a party. Obviously, we got a party while we're there, so you get to choose what party you want to be in.
Hip hop starts with the party, so yeah, the party's definitely
right.
Central, and I'm glad you guys really are highlighting the DJs, and because I always say, like, the DJs are that nucleus of the hip hop universe. Like, it starts and ends with the DJs. I think that at the end of the day, we're always going to have the hip hop DJs. Now, who are the DJs that are going to be there again? I know you named a few.
Yeah, so we've got, let me think. So we've got DJ Princess Cut, we've got ATL Royalty, DJ Jelly, DJ Rosurius, DJ Empress Ra, DJ Jeremy Avalon. Our headlining DJ is DJ Scratch, Grammy Award winning out of New York. And then we've got the DJs who created the mixes for the silent pods. So those are DJ Rosterroot, DJ Naturel, DJ Knots, DJ Fudge. Who am I missing? I think there are 5. Somebody I'm missing, they're going to be mad. But you can get all the...
It's all good. I know you got a lot of information you're retaining. Yeah, we're going to definitely put up all the details and, promote the event until, the event happens. This is something that people got to definitely be a part of. And we're going to be there too. We're going to be posted up and have our trivia game. Some exclusive, according to Hip Hop, trivia game decks are going to be there. So we appreciate y'all having us there as well. What I was going to ask you, though, because I know you have a background when, you did the One Music Fest. And so hip hop performance is probably really big for you. Do you have that moment where you went to a hip hop concert and you were like, you know what? I want to put these on. Is there a hip hop performer that you go to or a single concert that sticks out in your mind?
Well, in terms of single concerts, I definitely have one. I fell into doing events, not necessarily by plan. It's just kind of life happened. And you meet people and you end up working places and one thing leads to another. I happen to really enjoy it and really, I think do well the kind of putting together the elements of events so people can enjoy, but it wasn't necessarily my life plan. You just kind of got to go with the flow sometimes. But in terms of a hip hop concert that I will always remember that really kind of solidified my love of hip hop, I was still in high school, so maybe I was 16. And I went to a concert in Low 5 Points here in Atlanta in a little venue for like $20. And I saw The Roots, I saw Goody Mob, and the Fugees.
I remember that tour.
It was an amazing
Was that Smoking Groove?
Maybe. Now it's hard. And I wish I had kept the poster from it because I had torn a poster down off of a telephone booth, and I used to have that poster. But just to be able to see that level of talent for $20 you know what I mean, in a real intimate club. I'm like right here at the stage. It was just
Right.
amazing. So yeah, so that concert always stands out in my mind. It's like, I mean, it was just an amazing concert and really kind of solidified my love for hip hop.
What a lineup. The
But
Fugees,
I
Goody
know.
Mob, and the
Yep.
Roots. I mean,
Yep.
right now, I mean, you already know ticket prices the way they are now. That'd be a $300 ticket at
Oh,
least.
easy,
At
easy. Yeah,
least.
easy.
And then you got to see them in an intimate setting too, where you
Yeah.
could, you know,
I'll never,
feel
I
and
will
see
never forget.
everything.
It's awesome.
No, I mean, when we're talking about concerts, what do you think about, some of the metaverse concerts and things like that? Do you think that those things are going to possibly overtake the live experience eventually, or?
Oh, overtake? No,
Okay.
definitely not. I mean, I'm part of our enjoyment of music is that we do it together, right? It
Hmm.
is the people. It's like, with this Beyonce concert coming up, some friends of mine were like, oh, let's go see it in Sweden or someplace. And I was like, because I want to be with my black people in Atlanta, you know
Hmm.
what I mean, when we're having that experience, because that's part of it, right? It's that you're
Right.
doing it with your people together.
Right.
So I don't think it'll take over, but I do think it's a really interesting growing market because it allows me, for instance, to participate and to watch maybe a festival that's happening in Sweden. You know what I mean? Like I
Right.
can, Africa's putting out a lot of content now. They're doing a lot of concerts, and everybody can't afford that ticket to go over there to it. But if you create things in the metaverse, I can still be at, your Afrocellas or whatever and have that experience and see what that's like.
Hmm.
So I think that there's definitely a lane for it. But overtake, no, I think people like, people are meant to be with people and we want to experience this together.
It is about the connection, and music is about connection. And like I said, live music is definitely connection. Other thing people are talking about in the technological sphere is, all of this AI technology. Do you
Mm-hmm.
think that people will ever really connect to that? Because artists and fans are pushing back alike.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know about that one. I kind of got to keep an eye on it.
Hmm.
I think for me personally, some of that stuff creeps me out a little bit. So, it's kind of hard for me to see the full possibilities of it. But, I mean, it's like some years ago when I can't remember what festival it was, and they had the hologram kind of
Tupac,
concert.
is that what you're
Tupac,
thinking
yeah, and they
about?
had the hologram. People were it was mixed reactions, but I think people are still trying to figure out what to do with that and how to use it.
I
Because
actually
it's
saw that
interesting.
live. Yeah, it was at
People are kind of like,
Coachella.
it's a bit creepy. So we'll
Yeah.
see how these things develop.
It's interesting because that was like 12 years ago, I think. 12 or 13 years ago, because Kendrick hadn't even came out at the moment. And when they did that hologram, no one knew it was coming. It just came out of nowhere. And I'm like, this is cool. I kind of enjoy this, but this is kind of weird.
Yeah, yeah, it's a bit weird.
Because they were
So
performing
and
with
you
him,
see, I
you
mean,
know?
that was 12 years ago. It hasn't become commonplace yet because it's kind of like people are still like, what do we do here with this? Like, how do we really make this work? So somebody will figure it out.
A good friend of mine, his daughter's a DJ, and well, actually, she's kind of a full time student, but DJing on the side. It's like 19. And I asked him yesterday, I was like, so, with a lot of new music that comes out, the songs are like 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes long. And I asked him, like, what does a young DJ play now? And I asked him about what his daughter plays, and he said that she basically plays older stuff, like stuff from previous years and 20 years ago, stuff we grew up on. And I'm like, well, that's not good for hip hop moving forward. Like, so what is the future of, I guess, who do you see next when it comes to performers and things like that? Do you see that part of it slowing down, or do you think that hip hop is just celebrating its roots more now?
I think, that's an interesting question because having, been festival director at One Music Fest, working with those folks for
Hmm.
14 years, and we're seeing a lot of different performers of a lot of different ages. I mean, that's one of the things that One Music Fest does really well.
Yeah.
They'll put, Busta Rhymes next to a Lil Uzi Vert or whatever, you know what I mean?
Right.
So you really get to kind of see the differences. And there isn't the same level of artist development and training and things, you know what I mean, that there used to be. When you're talking about the songs now, 2 minutes, I guess this younger generation, they got a short attention span.
Right.
It's just not quite the same as what we're used to. But I think every genre has its. Uh-oh.
You
Oh,
there?
sorry. For some reason, it just disappeared on me.
Oh, no, you're here.
But yeah, every genre, has its kind of ebbs and its flows and its changes. And I think what we're seeing is hip hop kind of morph into whatever its next thing is going to be. You know what I mean? It's like Black people, we're really great at creating whatever the next art movement is. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? We created the blues, we created rock and roll, we created a lot of these,
Jazz.
movements.
Yeah.
And then we move on to whatever the next thing is. And so this might be, we're seeing a point where we're at like, oh, okay, well, that thing kind of is what it is. And now we're moving into whatever kind of the next genre might be. So, I mean, we just kind of got to keep an eye on it and see where it's going.
Yeah, it's going somewhere. We just, like you said, we got to stay on top of it. I know we will. What is that process like? I know you said you worked with One Music Fest for like 14 years. What's that process like of putting together that eclectic mix of artists on a festival stage?
It's the best of times, it's the worst of times. So, doing a festival like One Music Fest is awesome because you can just dream. I think, the core of the festival was really about Black people listen to a lot of different stuff. But the way, our music is programmed, it has to fall into boxes. You know what I mean? It's an R&B festival. It's a hip hop festival. It's a gospel festival. It's you know what I mean?
Right.
But we might listen to all of that. I might be listening to Cardi B, and then you change that. Now I'm in the mood for Shirley Caesar, whatever it is. You know what I mean? So it was about that. Like, let's bring all that together. Let's cut out all of that. I'm gonna listen to the Isley Brothers. I'm also gonna listen to Lucky Day. You know what I mean? So. It was about bringing all of that together, which is wonderful, when you're dreaming about it, and then you start putting pen to paper, you start working out these contracts, you start looking at budgets, and availability and all the things, and it just becomes, a bit of craziness. But the craziness is the fun part, because when you can really put together a lineup you're really excited about with some surprises, some folks people don't know, but, we think are really about to be dope. Some folks they love, you know what I mean? Some people who are hot at the moment, some people who were superstars back in the day. You can really create a really, really wonderful mix and an experience for people. And that's what we were always trying to do, is really create just an experience they're not going to forget. They're going to say, a One Music Fest lineup, I'm going to go see it. Like, I don't even have to know who's on it. I'm going, and really trying to do that year after year. It's daunting, but that's really always the goal.
Well, that's the exciting part, and that's what really sets you guys apart from everyone else. Because I talk to my friends about One Music Fest. That's the first thing they say, like the variety of acts from different age brackets, different genres, different walks of life, and it's a beautiful thing. I definitely accomplished that. Now,
and it's been fun, being able to take those experiences, those skills, that same kind of level of attention to detail, and trying to be innovative and bring that into the programming we're doing here with NBAF. And we're partnering with One Music Fest on Rapper's Delight, so they'll definitely have a presence there as well.
Okay.
That's around the time they'll be announcing their lineup, so that'll be really exciting. So folks can come check them out there at Rapper's Delight as well.
Oh, that's going to be dope. Can't wait to see that as well. This is going to be a great, great event. Now, if you had, let's just say you had a dream lineup. You're putting on a dream hip hop concert lineup with, let's just say, maybe 6 acts. Where you going?
That's
Dead or alive, too? Yeah.
Hard.
We could.
That's really hard. But let me see.
I know you want to probably mix it up.
That's gonna be really hard for me. So I'm a big Megan Thee Stallion fan. So I'm gonna have to have Megan there. I really love a lot of old school stuff. If you can get all of Wu-Tang together, I'm gonna be there.
Of course.
So Wu-Tang is dope. If you could get Mos Def when he was Mos Def, like I'm gonna want to see that. I like some of the younger, newer folks, like a Flo Milli. I'm really interested in somebody like a Doja Cat. I think that she's quirky, different. I think throwing her in there is fabulous.
She's incredibly talented.
Yeah, super, super talented.
Yeah.
So would love to see her on a lineup. I'm also, I'm Atlanta. I like a little trap, little ratchet. I could definitely do a Jeezy.
Okay.
So
we got Megan, Wu-Tang, Jeezy, Doja Cat, Flo Milli. I like that lineup.
I mean,
sell some tickets with that one.
Different.
And Mos Def. So that was the 6. Yeah, Mos Def. I saw Mos Def at the Tabernacle. Yeah, definitely. Mos Def's one of my favorites. Like, he was the first moment I heard Mos Def. I think I heard him on B-Boy Document off that Raucous album, and I was like, yo, whoever this guy is can flow, man. Like, and then I heard Miss Fat Booty, and I was like, yeah, this dude is incredible. And I saw him at the Tabernacle. And what he does, do you like what he didn't really perform any of the songs in the way that I remembered them? He would like kind of ad lib a lot, and like at the time I was like, man, perform the records like we remember them. But now I appreciate it a lot more. But yeah, Mos is dope.
Yeah, he is.
And you know, we're big Wu-Tang fans over here too. I guess this wasn't even on my list, but what is your favorite Wu-Tang album, counting the solo stuff and the group stuff?
I would probably have to go with the first. Was it Into the 36?
Into the 36?
Okay. Probably I would have to go with that because that really just blew my mind.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you know, I'm a suburban Atlanta kid, real solid middle class, upstanding family, but you could not tell me, you know what I mean, that I wasn't in New York hip. I mean, it was on repeat. My mother was like, what? Enough, please. So that album came out. So I'm probably going to have to go with that. Although I did then become a big Method Man fan later on. But probably the best I'm going to have to go with the first one.
Well, our viewers on the show know I say this all the time. Method Man was my favorite rapper growing up. And now, I mean, I think as it evolved, it kind of turned into Ghostface. But big fans of all of them, man. I only built for Cuban Links. I would probably put it that spot, but you're right. When Into the 36 came out, it was like a whirlwind.
Yeah, it was.
Okay, well, I know you got a lot going on, putting together festivals and putting together these hip-hop dreams. I'm looking forward to attending the festival, and everyone else needs to go out here and check it out as well. Do you want to leave the people with anything? We'll put all the information in the description tag and all of that.
Awesome. Yeah, well, they can check it out on our website, NBAF.org. It's free and open to the public. So definitely grab your tickets. Space is limited, however, so we do have capacity numbers. So if you want to get your tickets, get them ASAP. We do have some VIP tickets, prepaid parking and stuff on there if you want a little bit of an elevated experience. But we're just going to have a great time and celebrate hip-hop. So, you know, come in your hip-hop outfits, maybe from your favorite era or whatever. We're really going to try to do it up. And we're setting off Atlanta's celebration of hip-hop. So there are other events coming afterwards, but this is the first kind of inaugural event for the city celebrating the anniversary. So we want to do it big. So definitely come out and play with us.
That's awesome. And yeah, we're going to keep, everybody updated on our live broadcast all the way up into the event. And hopefully some of the DJs that are involved, will sit down as well. And we can kind of, keep talking about it until this wonderful event happens.
Absolutely.
All right. I appreciate you joining us today. And yeah, look forward to seeing you at the event.